Hey everybody, welcome back. If you have a 92 to 96 6.5 diesel, chances are you have this style wastegate controller on it. Okay, for 92 and 93 years only, they had a complete spring-loaded system. Let me get it for you. So it came with no vacuum, just a spring, this rod, which was controlled by a nut on the end of there for the preloaded pressure of 3 to 5 psi, which we all know kind of sucked. So what I did was I took these components, took them all apart, and I made my own. Here's how I did it. So I took the stock spring from the stock unit. You can call up a spring company. They'll tell you to measure the diameter, count how many coils, and measure with the caliper the thickness of the spring, and that will give you the PSI of that spring. So what they came back with was an aftermarket solution comparable to it. So then I went to work. I made some, I don't know what you want to call them, stoppers. It's a piece of aluminum that will fit right inside this spring on both ends so that this bar can go through there. And what I did was I took the original rod and I kind of made it my own. And here's how I did that. I guess we should start with this. So I took this base and I measured and I actually traced the circumference of this, and I ended up coming up with something that would fit just how it's supposed to. But the difference is that mine bolts flat and this one's offset, so I had to take into account this distance. So what I did was I took the original piece here and I pretty much copied it, but instead of putting a C-clip and a groove in it, I drilled a 1/16 hole, put a cotter pin through it. So now the difference in the offset is noted here in the length of the bar. So now I'll show you the setup. Now mind you, nothing's bolted in place. I've just got it kind of sitting here, but we've got our 2 aluminum keepers at the ends of the spring, and that stops this from walking anywhere. It stops this spring from going anywhere too. We've got a cotter pin. It's not in here because there's no need for this video. But this rod, the reason I chose it is because it fits in here. Well, I'm not going to get it out right now, but it fits through this factory hole just perfectly. So then you've got something like this. Now, you need a boost gauge. Don't put this on your vehicle if you don't have a boost gauge. You'll blow up your motor and then you'll be mad at me. I don't want that. So your boost gauge. I've had them put into here. This is your, I guess you call it your upper intake, plenum. I started out with having it here. I think I drilled one maybe back here somewhere. I went to a later style, which is a bolt. The bolt has a hole through it. I'm not sure who makes it. Any of the major diesel companies will sell it, but that seems to be the easiest way to go. But please put a boost gauge on before you do this modification. But let me show you one more thing, is how I made this. And it might be a little bit more than you guys can do unless you have a machine shop, but I'll show you anyways. So for this rod, I started out with, I don't even know what size this is. My bad. I'll have to put it in notes as I edit this video. But I made this little jig here. Put it in here. I've got a drill bit that goes through the base of it. I know you can't see that probably. Okay, that's how I get this hole in there. So it's going to go in. You're going to heat it up with a torch close to the base, bend it 90 degrees. That will give you this, and then you can drill through it. I'll never line this up again. It'll never happen. So we're just not going to do that. But that's a cute little tool. I'm sure you can put this in a vise, measure down, or just cut off your excess. Put it in a vise, heat it up, bend it at a 90. measure what you need to go through this and not hit the base of the turbo, and then just cut off the excess. Clamp this in a vise again and drill through it. It was actually the step up. It was one more drill bit up from a 16th, because a cotter pin is a 16th. So this is like a 9/64 or some crazy number like that. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think that's all the tricks I can give you. Wait a minute. I might have the bag the springs came in to give you a part number. Let me find that. I'll be right back. All right, I went off half-cocked and didn't even think to get the measurements. So this rod diameter is a 5/16. It's gonna measure 3.12, somewhere in there. This is about 3/111, but close enough. So that's what I used for this. And the springs are from the Lee Spring Company. I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably end up putting that in the print also, just in case you can't see it. The part number. So for pennies, I mean, you can buy this 5/16 rod at Lowe's or Home Depot. You can bend it, you can drill it, you can do everything you need to. Threading it might be a little different. I ended up chucking it in a lathe before I put the bend on it. I chucked the straight piece in a lathe, and on the holders where I put the die. So I ended up just spinning it by hand to get it started so it was nice and true. Otherwise it gets kind of wonky. But you might have luck. You know, this isn't impossible to do in your back garage. So good luck. Stay with me. I've got more stuff. I just got my garage done. I've got a 39 DeSoto. I'm probably gonna be painting, building a motor for it. I've got my 92 Chevy, gonna put some paint on that. Might show you some cheap fuel system that I threw on it too. Don't know. Stay tuned.